Welcome to the show, everybody. It's the Crypto Lark. Today I have with me Ossie. He is the co-founder and blockchain lead of Choice, an exciting project that is coming up here in New Zealand. Ossie, welcome.
Kia ora.
Now, can you give us a quick shout out and just let us know what the heck is Choice?
All right, so let me tell you, Lark. Choice is a sales protocol. It's a value transfer ecosystem that allows merchants to send value to consumers, to send value to merchants with a 1% transaction fee, half of that fee going to a charity of their choice.
Cool. So basically, businesses get to continue accepting payments as they normally did, except now, instead of all that money going to Visa and MasterCard for more yacht rides for those guys, we're going to be giving money to charity.
That's exactly right, Lark.
Cool.
And we think the merchants in New Zealand are really sick of the ultra high transaction fees. Those companies are taking billions of dollars a year out of the Kiwi economy. We want to keep all that money in New Zealand, and then we want to go and do that globally.
Yeah, and that's an important point to really underline, is that a lot of our banking fees here in New Zealand all go overseas. Most of our banks here are actually foreign owned, and of course the big credit card companies, all that money is going overseas too. So it's really great to actually keep that money flowing within our economy, but also flowing to the people who really need it most. So it's a really interesting idea. Why do you need blockchain?
So basically what we're doing with blockchain in New Zealand is we're enabling something that's never been able to happen before. We're enabling intra-bank transfers within the New Zealand ecosystem, which are completely free. What we're doing is we're enabling them super fast, and we're using a blockchain layer as a transparent ledger layer that'll enable everyone and all the banks, governments, and charities to audit exactly what is happening with this transfer. Super fast, and we want this to become a legally compliant protocol in New Zealand, and this is the fastest way of making that happen.
Blockchain really offers so many potentials for a wide range of industries. Finance is one of them, and it's just transparency. And I think that's the really important thing. You can see where the money's going and who it's going to. When I thought about Choice and what you guys are doing, I thought, well, that's actually great, because you can actually know what's going to what charity, for example. Everything can be tracked on the blockchain, so you know that there's no funny business going on. You guys aren't just, siphoning a bit off on the side for some sweet yacht rides or whatever. So
that's right.
That's why I love the blockchain, and it's got such a wide range of application. Now, NEM! You guys chose the NEM blockchain of all the blockchains out there to get involved with. Why?
So NEM is actually it's a really, really efficient blockchain. What they're offering for us is the NEM team has been really supportive the whole way through from inception. They basically met us when we were just ideation stage, and they were supportive the whole way through. They're huge fans of the project, and we decided to go with those guys because they're offering us a lot of support down here through their community fund, which is absolutely brilliant. Huge shout out to those guys.
Yeah, the NEM Community Fund is an amazing thing. I remember I met with Jason when he was here a couple months ago, and he was talking about, we've got this great community fund. We got millions of dollars available for businesses that want to build on NEM blockchain, so please come and build on us. And so you guys took that offer up, which is awesome.
That's right.
Now, can you tell me, how does that community proposal process work? For any other business out there that might want, NEM blockchain, money, well, how can we do this?
Absolutely.
Can you walk me through it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So the best way to go about the community fund proposal is to get involved with the NEM community to start with, become an active member, join Telegram, go across their channels, start figuring out what's going on, go look at the current project proposals, and go look at past project proposals, see what's been successful, copy that format, keep it simple, go maybe 5 or 6 pages, appeal to people's sort of emotions, design, what have you. Go through the process and make something that counts, because the NEM community is really about doing something that's really impactful, and they're not just going to fund ICO that's just a money grab, really. They're into funding some sustainable businesses and new protocols on their blockchain.
Which is, I think, really interesting about the community proposal process, because essentially you have the community saying, we like that, we don't like that, we see value in that, we don't see value in that, which is of course really great. And so to be going through that process, I think, is a validation in of itself.
Of course, yeah, it's like a bit of a DAO structure.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, tell me about some of the different things of NEM that you're going to be using. So will this be a mosaic?
Yes. So basically, what we're using is the apostille service, the namespaces, and we're creating mosaic on that service. What happens in New Zealand is that when a customer will pay a merchant in their NZD fiat, our API will pull when that money gets pulled out of their bank account directly. Our API will then call and mint NEM NZDC mosaic tokens pegged to the NZD one-to-one value, absolutely transparent. All the money sits there in our trust with their bank. When those NZDCs are transferred to the merchant, 99% of those go to the merchant, 1% of those goes to the charity. When those are received at those two particular destinations, they get sent to a burn contract. Once those are verified, and NZD is dispersed directly to those two entities from our trust account with their different banks.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So can you tell us a bit more about the NEM namespace and the NEM apostille? How exactly do those work?
Yeah, great. So it's basically a smart contract system. You can create your own token, which is a mosaic. You can set your own parameters. You can set levy percentages. You can set mutable quantities. Create burn contracts. You can send certifications. So we will be tracking exactly how those charities receive that money. They'll all be registered charities in New Zealand to start with, but of course, when we start to go globally, consumers and merchants will want to see the impact that they're having in real time. And maybe we would like to eventually help shift the way that charities work themselves and make it more around project-based bidding, etc. Really allowing the community to evolve, enabling them to evolve, bring charity and social impact to the blockchain using apostille and namespaces is a great way to do it. Brilliant system.
And now what about the approach to charities? So let's say I'm using Choice. Do I get to help orangutans in Indonesia, or do you guys have like a list of preferred charities? How's that going to work?
Yeah, so basically we're working with some of the largest charity registries in New Zealand to just integrate with those to start with. Those are all a combination of international and local charities. You'll be able to choose the causes that you care about most. You'll be able to either donate to those or then change where your donations go and afterwards. You can choose basically whichever charities you want that are based in New Zealand to start with. Of course, as soon as we go international, any registered charity will be able to join.
Awesome. Of course, there's a lot of charities in New Zealand that definitely deserve a bit of extra attention too, from helping children in difficult situations to saving the dolphins and the penguins. So there's definitely a lot of scope for those charities here in New Zealand too.
That's right, and those merchants and consumers being able to see that impact and show that impact and share that will hopefully create that network effect that we all love so much, being in the crypto and blockchain space and creating that for good.
Yeah, awesome. Now, as a merchant, I'm not going to have a point of sale terminal like I would with a credit card or a debit card. Can you walk me through what's going to be the actual physical process for me as a merchant to adapt using Choice?
That's right. So we'd like merchants to sign up simply on their phone, do a bit of KYC. We're currently integrating with the New Zealand banks to make that process seamless for merchants and consumers. Merchant will just need to show their phone or a tablet with a dynamic QR code. We're going for QR codes because we've seen that work so well overseas, and we'd like to leapfrog credit cards and get rid of that bloated payments infrastructure, those terminals that cost 40 to 120 or even more dollars a month just for the merchants to rent. We'd like to leapfrog those, enable merchants who are mobile, single sole traders, etc. But we'll also be doing an integration with the Kiwi POS terminals later on down the track. So we've got the Vera phones, and those will be able to display the Choice QR code as well. So integrating with current POS systems.
Great. I think that's really important to actually have that current integration, because you know how some merchants are. They don't, new technology, I don't know what that is. But if you can say, hey, it's already on your existing thing, it just gives people a choice to donate to charity. They might go, well, if I don't have to do anything, that's okay then.
Exactly, and we've spoken to so many merchants now, and they're all getting rid of PayWave and those credit card and debit card fast transactions, because those are taking over 5% off each transaction, maybe 7 to 8% in some cases. And that's really, really hard off your gross sales margin for a merchant. So that's before you calculate profit.
That's ludicrous. And the thing is that all gets passed on to you as an end consumer. It's not that the restaurants or the supermarkets are necessarily absorbing that cost themselves. They just raise the prices. And so at the end of the day, your money is going towards funding Visa and MasterCard's sweet yacht rides. I know we're talking
That's
about
right,
sweet yacht rides today, but that's what's happening, guys.
That's
what's
right,
happening. Now, our local bank, Kiwi Bank, that is our national bank here in New Zealand. You guys are working with the FinTech Accelerator, and are you working directly with them as a bank as well?
That's right, yeah. So we're working with them on several levels. Their technical, their payments, their AML, their KYC, as well as a couple of their execs up at the top to help us really push and get the idea over the line with all of Kiwi Bank. We're also working with all the other banks here as well, which is great. Every single bank is on board. They understand that basically these are their credit card companies are basically their frenemies at this stage. They get kickbacks and whatnot, they get rides on the yacht.
That's it.
But they are also scared that merchants and consumers have had enough. And we think the time is right. Everyone's really waking up to it. Merchants, consumers, governments and banks behind us. Get rid of credit card companies.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think there's anyone out there who goes, I just love my credit card company. They've been so fair to me and treated me so well all these years.
That's right. And for people who love their rewards as well, we'll be able to game the system for you too. So what we're doing for you guys out there is that you get a 28% tax rebate on any charitable donation you make. So we'll be able to give you rewards that are almost equivalent to your credit card rewards for using Choice.
Wow.
Legally.
Wow. That's also really good. I hadn't even thought about that angle. It's a tax write-off, guys. That's fantastic.
That's right, guys.
And now, any potential, for example, in the future to bring in Air New Zealand Air Points miles or anything like that?
Certainly, exactly. So we just want to make this an ecosystem, literally, network effect, everything that's good about blockchain, bringing in everything. So we just want to create that network effect for New Zealand and show the rest of the world that this can be a working model.
Very cool. So obviously there's been a lot of interest from the bank here in New Zealand, but who are your other partners? Who are some, if you can announce anyone yet, or maybe you could at least say kind of what different people have been interested. So what are the partners, the retailers, who wants to get involved in this?
Certainly. So we've got large groups of charities, registries of charities, international as well, that really want to get involved in this. They want to obviously get involved as soon as possible. We want to make that happen for them as soon as possible. We've got the bank, we've got the banks, all the banks in New Zealand. And interestingly enough, we've got the government and the regulators, so the Reserve Bank and the Financial Monetary Authority.
Wow.
And so they're really letting us take the lead as far as they're allowing us to co-create the legislation that will allow choice to happen, because they kind of see us as a bit of a beacon and setting ourselves up as a social enterprise model. We're sort of reflecting, we're practicing what we preach and wanting to reflect all of our values in what we do. So everyone is really keen to get behind us. We've got some of the best blockchain lawyers in New Zealand helping us write that legislation. And then on the retail side, we've got everyone from huge retail chains to small retailers knocking at the door, asking when they'll be able to use Choice. And that is very soon, guys.
When can you save me money? I want to save money now.
That's right. We can't wait, guys.
I think in a lot of ways, that's probably going to go towards answering a bit of my next question too, is sort of the legal implications of KYC and anti-money laundering laws. But I guess if you have these direct relationships with all the banks, and of course if you have this sort of backing from the governments going, this is a great idea, we want to prop you up, then I'm sure there's going to be not so many issues. But can you see any issues that might come up?
What we really want to do, and in New Zealand this has happened before. I don't know if many of you guys have been here, but it's not the biggest place. Everyone basically knows everyone. So we're able to work directly with the regulators down here. What we'd like to do is write some legislation that will allow a choice transaction or a choice style of transaction to be a legally verified and acceptable means of value transfer. Once that happens, then we're in the clear basically. Around AML, the banks have already done that for us, and we're using intrabank transfer and then echoing that on a blockchain layer. I believe for international, it will be, hopefully it will be that we've set the stage here and that we can just plug into banking consortium overseas. And for countries that are unbanked, we'd like to just provide them the choice infrastructure directly, and allow them to basically put pressure on their banks and governments to allow it to happen.
Yeah, I think particularly for unbanked countries, it has a lot of potential because everyone seems to have a mobile phone in these countries where there's not a lot of infrastructure. They can at least have a phone, and so if you can have a QR code, you can access financial services, and I think that's really important to point out here. And New Zealand is a great country in the sense that our democracy here is very responsive. And yeah, we can always find ways to criticize our little democracy down here in the South Pacific, but the reality is Parliament's just down the street. Politicians are not some inaccessible gods that everyone bows down to. They're people that are here to work with you to actually make the country a better place. So I'm really excited to hear that the government's going, wow, this is a cool idea. Let's hop on board. I mean, I'm kind of imagining like 5 years from now or something, this becomes a major payment system. It's all using the NEM blockchain too, which is of course very exciting. So that's really cool. But obviously the banks are behind it, the government's behind it, retailers are interested in it. But what's your marketing plan really to take it to countrywide, I suppose?
That's right, Lark. So, I mean, I guess going back to the main ethos, we're looking at the sort of at the millennial psychographic. It's not really a demographic; it's a way of thinking, right? You can be any age and you can think like a millennial, digital nomad, whatever. These people are more aware of inequality and injustice in the world more than ever. You look at rapid globalization; everyone's seeing what's going on all over the world. So what we're doing is we're able to tap into that, but at the same time, these guys. They donate the least to traditional charity models. People see charity as inauthentic and opaque. You don't know where your money goes. There's all this ruckus around not knowing how you pay, how you repay. Go around, guy with an iPad on the street. What we'd like to do is these guys want to make a change in the world more than ever. What we want to do is just enable that. The way we want to get it into people's heads is we've looked at New Zealand's most consumed beverage, and that's coffee. So what we'd like to do is we're working currently with a couple of the largest coffee companies in New Zealand about doing a choice branded marketing plan that rolls out all over the country.
Wow.
So if you've got time to get a coffee in the morning, it's likely you'll have time to read the cup, maybe look at the QR code on the back, maybe read the story, scan it for a free copy the next time, and get into choice. And we think that as soon as someone makes their first choice transaction and sees the impact that they made from one transaction, that they'll want to use it again.
Wow, that's cool. I like that. It's an interesting marketing angle, saying, hey, we're gonna go and get to the coffee companies. And actually, that's a pretty cool idea because everybody has a morning coffee.
That's right.
And that's it. That's really cool. I really like it. Now, I wanted to finish up the chat here with kind of getting your sense of the general state of cryptocurrency and blockchain technology here in New Zealand.
Cool. So I'm just going to point over to Australia, and I think they've done so well. They're right next door. They're fully open. You look at their banking system; they've got open banking. They are completely open to crypto. I'd really like to see New Zealand follow in their footsteps a little bit more. I know that the Reserve Bank is really aware of what's going on, so is the IRD. I'd like to see them go along more of an Australian system than a US system, which I know that they're considering with how they class the assets. And I think that they should start trickling down a little bit more knowledge to the average person. That'd be absolutely brilliant to see. But I do believe that the regulators are aware of what's going on.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see some, I think, finalization here in New Zealand too around sort of the status of things. I know we had some announcements last year on securities and what they're going to be classifying as security, what they're going to be classifying as a utility token, for example, and all this, and we just up in the air.
Exactly. We'd really like to see some commitment from the guys on that. You're right. Everyone feels like they're left hanging a little bit. And there's been a couple of particular events that have happened to a couple of our larger exchanges and things like that, that has everyone a little bit on edge, but we're still waiting around. But I think the outlook is extremely positive.
Nice. Well, let's just go down to Parliament and talk to them and see what say. Hey guys, come on.
All right, we do it.
Let's go.
All right, let's do it.
See you guys later. We're off to Parliament.
All right. See you guys. Great to meet
Bye,
you.
Bye, guys. Cool.
Let's do it, love.
Yeah. All right, we're out of here.